So it's the new year and you have your New Year's resolutions down on maybe a piece of paper, your journal, your goal planner for 2021. But there's one problem. You know that when you're writing these down, it's going to be the same thing it has been year after year. Couple weeks in, you're doing very well with your New Year's resolutions. Maybe you're eating healthier, maybe you're making more business calls, or making more sales, but then something happens. Either you lose motivation, you lose focus, or you just flat out say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore because it's challenging and, well, I'm going to quit. I'm going to forget about it. With all this said, how do we actually achieve our goal? Well, there's two simple but not easy steps that we should follow and could follow in order to get there. We'll be using some research material, and that is going to be in the form of some books today. We have James Clear's Atomic Habits and Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect. First, we're going to talk about small habits and how you can build a good, sustainable habit with Atomic Habits. Now, while we can make a whole channel about habits and every little thing about them, I'll be focusing on the habit loop that James Clear lays out in his book. Now, the first step in the habit loop is the cue. The cue is really meaningless until we perceive it. We crave the change in state that a cue signals. For instance, if that didn't make sense, say you're driving by McDonald's and you smell the French fries. That cue, that smell, that's the cue, it's a signal, it's a stimuli hitting your senses, and you're craving that. You're craving the change in state from hungry to satisfied. Second step is craving. These go hand in hand. The cue comes before craving. And remember, we always are wanting the change in state, not necessarily what we're craving. So we're not craving that candy bar, we're craving the sugar high, we're craving the satisfaction of eating something sweet, the mouth pleasure. The third step is the response. This is our actual action we are taking to that cue and craving, what we are actually doing to install that habit into our daily lives or not install it. Now, the last step comes after the response, and that's the reward. The reward is that McDouble or that Big Mac. It is that candy bar. The reward is the satisfaction in itself. However, it also tells us which rewards and which cues to remember. You get out of class every single Friday night and you drive by that McDonald's, your brain is going to remember that cue of smelling that hamburger and French fries, which is going to make you crave it, when your response is going to be to pull through that drive-thru and to get that McDouble or whatever you're eating. So how do we use this to our advantage? Well, we can break down the habit loop in order to build good habits. For instance, the cue. We have to make the cue obvious. We have to be aware that we are actually smelling those French fries. We have to notice that cue. It's all about self-awareness. To use a cue to your advantage, you want to make it obvious. Maybe put your workout clothes in front of your bed the night before. That way, when you wake up in the morning, you literally have no excuse not to see them. So the second step is the craving. And James mentions that we have to make it attractive, a mindset shift. I want to versus I have to. I want to work out because it will make me healthier. It will give me that six-pack. I want to eat healthy because it will make me feel better. Notice that his language is not, I have to work out. I have to eat better, right? Switch that mindset and bring awareness to the whole process, but also do it with enthusiasm. So the craving gives us an opportunity to think. Now, what I mean by that is, in everyday life, we have a gap between our current state and a state that we could experience. For instance, when you wake up in the morning and you see those workout shoes and clothes right there, right then and there, in that moment, you have a decision to make. You can either work out or you can go back to bed. Step 3, the response. Now again, this is where the action takes place. Now, James outlines a pretty good way in the book to take action, and that's just start. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be 100% solid the first time through with whatever you're doing. Your first 2-mile run, you may not get 2 miles. It happens. But the fact is that you started. It's about how many times you have performed that habit, the repetitions over time, versus how long it's actually going to take you to achieve your goal. If you focus on continuing those reps, just like in the gym, right? You do 4 sets of 10 or 12 to build muscle. That's a hypertrophy range. So if you build muscle 12 reps at a time, you're going to get to your goal 12 reps at a time. The last step here is the reward. And again, if you remember, we said that it is a satisfaction in itself. Completing the goal or satisfying that craving, eating that candy bar. The reward is itself a goal. So I hope that makes sense for the habit loop. It was a quick explanation on what the habit loop is and how you can use it to build good habits from Atomic Habits. Now, we're going to talk about the next key step here to achieving any goal you desire, and that is consistency. Now that we have an understanding of how habits form and how to install good habits, we are going to focus on keeping them. Consistency is a huge struggle for a lot of people, including myself. This is one of the skills that I am continually working on in my career, in everyday life, just being a good person, being consistent with that, being honest to yourself and other people. That's a big skill that I'm trying to work on, and the Compound Effect by Darren Hardy really brings that into light. So the first step is starting small. You want to start so small that it's almost inconceivable how small and easy that task is. So again, going back to the Atomic Habits, small habits build on themselves over time. The more reps you get in, the better you get and the more confident you get, and that habit is more ingrained into your daily routine. So I'm a realtor. Say I want to help more people out and I want to sell X number of homes. My goal is to contact 10 people a day and talk to them about real estate. I'm going to start with one person a day for a week. I'm going to contact a new person every single day, just one, for 1 week, and then add a second person. So first step is starting small. Start so small that you think it's impossible that you couldn't achieve it. The second step in staying consistent is tracking it. You want to track your numbers. Say you're trying to save money, all right? Every dollar that I spend, I am going to track on this piece of paper and this journal that I have to bring around with me everywhere I go. If you did that, you would save a lot of money, because that $20 purchase, you'd have to pull out your journal, write it down, and really think about it. Do I really need this extra product that's $20? No. So tracking is a really great way to stay honest with yourself, but also look back and see your progress. The third tip to staying consistent from the Compound Effect is bookending your days with routines. We talked about earlier, if you want to work out in the morning, because you're going to put your shoes at the foot of the bed and your clothes on the dresser, that's the same thing. You do that at night, every single night before you go to bed. That way, you know in the morning you're going to work out. That's your routine that has been bookended now every single night. And what's your morning routine? Well, you wake up and work out. Those two things really complement each other. So bookend your days and in the mornings and nights. That way you stay consistent. All right, so when it's all said and done, 2 ways to achieve any goal are small habits and consistency. You pair those together, you're going to have a real great shot of achieving any goal that you want to obtain. Again, I'm just trying to improve just like you all. I really hope you enjoyed this video and this content. If you know somebody who could benefit from this video or these ideas in this video, then please share it. It could really benefit someone's life, and it could help them improve whatever goal that they are aiming for. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.